Right then, so
brief recap then. What I'm going to do is throw it out, and if I miss anything, just after I finish shouting. So far, 2 parties of adventurers have met up in Barovia, and you've come in for different reasons. You managed to escape the mist and wolves and werewolves, and then you had you almost all died in the death house. You only just managed to escape. Found your way into the village of Barovia, where you met Morgantha. She started dishing out pies, only of which Akxikas started eating. He loves a pie. And then you met Irina in Ismark. Your ongoing mission is to get Irina to safety. So you had lots of other bits and pieces, but you managed to get on the road, the Old Svalich road from the village of Barovia. You went to Madame Eva. You had a very important Tarocca card reading with Madame Eva. You were invited to dinner at Castle Ravenloft, which you politely declined and wrote a nice letter back to Strahd. You are aware of the nature of Barovia being a demiplane, and you're aware of the fact that Strahd seems to have pulled you in and invited you. On the road, you came across a windmill where you had no choice other than to go in for various reasons, where you found Gertruda, who was being held captive, and you also found 3 hags who tore you apart. In the process of tearing you apart, they ripped Akxikas's eye out and then presented you with an amulet that they wanted you to go and deliver to Castle Ravenloft.
You didn't know it was all fun and games until then.
I did, really?
Yeah.
That was my favourite bit. And they also extracted a curse from all of you. And they gave you 5 days to 6 days to complete that mission.
Can we get a remove curse spell anywhere?
One of those days was spent carrying on to Vallaki, where you now had Irina and Gertruda. As you arrived in Vallaki, you met Vasily von Holtz, got into a fight with him, helped him out, he got you inside. On the next day, so we're now on day 5. No, yeah. Hold up. 6, 5, yeah, day 5, and you had to rest, so we got 4 days left. So then you've had a busy morning in Vallaki so far. You turned up at the church. The church is no longer sanctified, it's no longer hallowed ground because the bones were missing, so you spent all morning and most of the early afternoon looking for these bones. Went to various different locations until eventually you went to the coffee maker shop, which is where you are. At the minute, you managed to get the bones, and then you were set on by a bunch of vampire spawn, or more accurately, you set on a bunch of vampire spawn. And here's what I'm going to tell you now. It's a little bit meta, this, I'm afraid, but because you were having such a bad time of it, when you came up with your plan, I was thinking to myself, it's not really sunlighting below Barovia, but it was a good plan, so we went with it. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen again. There is no natural sunlight in Barovia.
I mean, that sounds like a perfect place for a vampire to live.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk? So that miss anything out? Any major plot points?
Yeah, the paladin is really uncharismatic apparently with all the natural ones he rolls, just on charisma checks.
Yeah, Ted sold his soul. That might be relevant.
Ted sold his soul to free Gertruda. Yeah. So that's Fester sold his soul. But yeah, so we pick up the story in the coffin maker's shop. So we've got, you found Milvoj, the older brother of the 2 brothers, tied up and bound in the coffin room, and Hendrik van de Voort. He basically came clean and said, look, I didn't, they made me do it type thing, and then he told you about the vampire spawn. So and Father Lucian's with you as well, and he proved quite handy with his sort of the spirits that surrounded him. So spirit guardian.
Spirit guardian.
Yeah.
I've got that spell now.
Nice. As we pick up the session, it is just before midday, and you are in possession of the bones, and you've just killed the vampire spawn. So I'm going to start off by saying to Rokkr that as the combat finishes, with your passive perception, you notice out of the window someone looking in, just behind. I'm going to ask you for a perception check because your passive perception is 19. I'm just going to see if you can get higher or thereabouts.
Right click on my...
Passive is 19.
Its passive perception is 19, mate. Yeah, Festus is 18. 25 is going to do it, Jim. So now that you've seen this character, what you see, you only see it in passing as you sort of catch a glimpse as the combat finishes, and it's the only reason you notice it is because it's someone who pulls back. But you do look, and it's a sort of a gaunt-looking type fella, withdrawn, a classic Barovian. But there's something distinct about him, and you're pretty sure with a 25 that you've seen this fella before. You're also pretty sure that if you've seen him before and he's looking at you through the window, he's been trailing you. With a 25, you'd also be pretty sure if you saw him again, you'd be able to pick him out in a crowd. However, at this point, after all of the ruckus and combat that has happened in the coffin shop, through the front door over here, you see 3 guards bustling in. And one of the guards calls out for Henrik, and as he comes through the door, the first thing he sees is Nik, standing in the door, looking a little bit battered. You were, if I remember rightly, you were grappled by one of the... Oh no, you had... Yeah, you were grappled, weren't you?
Yeah, I was grappled. I was a door.
Yeah.
Are we meant to be seeing something on the screen other than a cloud of bats?
Hold up. There you go.
I like bats.
I'm loading. Oh, there you go. I'm loading.
So what is it? A guard's come in?
Yeah, so there's 3 guards. And the first one, as he comes in, notices you, and he also shouts out for Henrik. And then there's a stop and a pause, and he looks a little bit confused. What do you want to do?
Oh, thank goodness the guards have arrived. Hendrik is through here. He's not well. We could use any help. And as I say, guards, I look to the priest because I know he doesn't want them to know that the bones are not where they should be, just as a cue for him to hide them.
Gotcha. So it's a guards.
That door was locked.
It wasn't. I came back in it.
They've just burst through it.
Okay.
They've heard a ruckus. So as the guards approach, they do look confused. Father Lucian's moving towards you. He's sort of cottoned on to what you're on about. But the guards still look a little bit confused, with spears and shields drawn. All 3 of them, or the lead one, will say to Nik, "Who are you? What's your business here?"
Do they look like they're thinking for themselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it look like what? Sorry.
They were thinking for themselves, or whether they were
Yeah,
charmed
are
or
you
anything.
not charmed or possessed or...
We'd heard there were foul creatures being held upstairs in this location, and we felt it was our place to help where we could. We believe the creatures have all been destroyed, though the city guard noting this and taking over and reporting back to the powers that need to know seems like what needs to happen next.
Okay. It's a relatively convincing argument, being as you've actually got a dead vampire spawn in your hands as we're talking. So
I drop it.
What body? So let's have a persuasion check then. Why not? With you can have advantage for that because it is quite obvious what you've done.
Okay. Advantage. Ooh.
You want?
Wow.
Charisma character. Here he is.
Wow, that was the best roll. It was a 5 and a 2.
Given the fact that it's pretty obvious what's happened. Not only this, what I'll say is Father Lucian steps through the door at this point. I mean, the guards would know Father Lucian. And they say, "Oh, Father, what's happening?" And he will reinforce everything that you've said, and also point to the vampire spawns dead. And he said, "These fine gentlemen, they've slayed a nest of vampires. They should be heralded as heroes." To which the two guards, the one in the lead, he looks like the leader. The other two guards turn around. He sort of mentions something to them, and they run out. And the other guard approaches and says, "Wow, incredible! That's wonderful. Where is? I have to inquire because it's his shop. Where is Henrik?"
I'm not trying to lie, so I'm hoping he is in here. He's in the coffin room.
Yeah. Henrik will come forward. I don't know if you remember from last time.
He's bound.
Oh, did you bind him?
Yeah.
You did bind him. Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Don't send him through yet.
Well, I'm hearing this, so I'll go and kind of acquire Hendrik, not roughly, but firmly, because he's bound, and obviously kind of march him through the door in front of me. So I'll come through the room with Dan.
Okay, righto. So a bound Henrik and Jarek step through. Let's pop you in the room then.
As he's fetching them, I go, he as well. However, we took precautions, seeing as the nest of vampires was not a surprise to him.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if we need a roll for this, and to be honest, I don't think we do.
Oh, it's not lying. That is what happened.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, Mark. I think Henrik would be, and also he's. You very much get the impression he's just a pawn in this. Something big, nasty, and horrible has threatened him and told him.
Yeah, we knew so much last week. He said that
he's not the mastermind, but he's also shown to be easily manipulated by others.
He couldn't interfere with us killing the vampires. I mean, I don't think he's any danger to us now.
No, he looks suitably embarrassed, I suppose, with the situation, and the guilt is clear on his face, and he will sort of fess up to the guards and say,
I'll explain to the guards, but so that we don't think he had any say in it, and he's certainly not. It's whoever coerced him into this.
Yeah,
that we need to find.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the guards. In response to this, the guard would probably say to you, "It's okay. I understand. It's probably best if we take Henrik to the Baron then, for the Baron's judgment. We'll keep him bound. I'll take him off your hands, thank you. Is all I can say to you. If you've rid the city of the town of a nest of vampires, that's invaluable. I will also tell the Baron, and I've forgotten her name, Mark. Morrigan. I tell the Baron and Morrigan all about this, and he's quite happy to lead Henrik off as long as you guys haven't got any business.
I'll tell you, do you really need to take him? I say I'm genuinely sure that he's no threat anymore. In fact, he might need protection because we've killed his vampires. I don't think you need to take him in. I don't think he'd have done anything if he hadn't been coerced. And so I think he needs to be watched surreptitiously for when to see if the real culprit comes to find out why he didn't stop us or whatever.
I think in response to that, the guard would very much be that's kind of above my pay grade type thing. There's been a crime committed. This fellow was harbouring a nest of vampires and didn't do anything. So it will have to be.
Can I roll the persuasion?
Yeah. It will have to be.
If you will, if you're going to be rolling persuasion, Jarek's going to be arguing with the guard's side that he should pay punishment for what he's done.
Right. Okay. No, that's fair enough, actually.
Yeah, because what he's saying to you is it's the Baron's judgment. It's the Baron's town. The Baron's in charge. And when he says the Baron's in charge, and everything that you've heard about the Baron is the Baron is in charge.
What about if we just fair enough. What about if we can go with you? You know, to be there so we can present evidence as eyewitnesses. Would that be all right? I mean, I've met the Baron, and Morrigan is my sister.
So the guard looks surprised, and it's very much crikey. I can't imagine she would have any family at all. Type surprise, and the guard says, "Yeah, I don't see why not."
Is everyone else down with this? I'm just assuming everyone's going to be. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll ask: are we down with that? Is that a plan?
I wish to escort the priest back to the church.
I would.
Yeah,
also
we can
go
do that
with the
first.
priest.
We can just walk back with him first, make sure he gets there safe,
But we
head
we
on.
don't have to go together. If you want to go and see your sister and talk it through, me and Jarek can
that's
walk
fair
between
enough.
us.
I mean, I'm quite happy to go alone. Is what I'll express, because obviously I brought the priest here. I'm more than happy to escort him back.
You've got the best rapport with the priest. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why we need to split up. We could just all go there, then all go with the guard. But if there's a time issue, then go
I'll
for it.
express again that I'd like to go, alone.
Right. Well, I'll go.
Are we all still in front of the guards? Is the priest still in front of the guards?
Yeah.
I understand that Jarek wants to go alone, but I will kind of see them out and wish them off just so I can try and say something to the priest out of the guard's earshot before he leaves.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I don't know what the rest of you do. I'll go with the guards and the fella.
Okay. So the guard and Henrik and Akxikas start to move towards the door out of earshot. So Father Lucian looks as if he's going to move forwards, but you're able to sort of subtly sort of say to him, "No, stay back."
It's just letting him know, kind of think of a cover story, because if they do interrogate this man, he's not made the deal of not sharing that those bones left the church. So if he discloses that he was harbouring the bones, thinking of a cover story, kind of knowing beforehand that it doesn't take you by surprise when you're asked.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what I want. That's why I was trying to get him on his own.
Right.
You may now proceed with him by yourself to tell him the same.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of important. So we need to make sure. So what Father Lucian, he'll respond. He'll sort of say, "Yeah, no, that's good thinking. That's right. No, we need to let Henrik know. Is there any way any of you can communicate with him subtly?"
Is Akxikas already gone?
They're just outside the building.
Because Akxikas can't he? He can mentally.
Yeah. Doesn't it might scare the crap out
I
of him?
poke my head out the door and go, "Akxikas, the Father Lucian just wants a quick word," and then I'll go and swap places with Akxikas.
Okay. So are you coming back in, Akxikas? He's gone, hasn't he?
What?
Is Mark dead? See, that's why we need a webcam on him, because one day he's just going to collapse at his computer. I'm sure that's why.
What a reassuring thought.
Well, I've got loads of his magic cards, so I'll be alright. You there, Mark?
You've got enough magic cards anyway.
True. Mark. Right. Well, let's assume that that's a plan. I think Mark would be going ahead with that. I think he'd be quite happy with that. So the guard Henrik would be. He can't sort of reply, but Mark could sort of. Are you back?
I'm back.
Right. You've been called. Where did you go?
Hey, just then.
Yeah.
To get a drink.
All right.
I did say I'll be back. I'll be back shortly. I'm going to top up my drink.
Okay. You've been called back into the room by Father Lucian.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll go back in the room.
Yeah. So Father Lucian is going to explain to you that what they need to do is tell Henrik not to talk about the bones. The bones need to remain a secret.
Yeah. Right.
You're the only one that can communicate subtly.
Yeah, I'll communicate. I can do I'll tell Henrik that through me telepathy.
Yeah.
Thing.
What are you going to say to him then?
I'll say, first of all, have I used this with him before? I can't remember.
No.
First of all, I'll say, don't panic. You're not going mental. It's me, Akxikas. I'm just to let you know, we're going to be with you. Try and make sure you don't get a severe punishment, or I'll be with you. But we need you to make sure that you just don't mention the bones. The bones, you never saw them. They never left the church. Is that okay? Just give us a nod if you're down with that.
Okay. I think considering what the guilt is written on his face, I'm not even going to ask for a roll for that. It would just sort of a quarter turn towards you, and you see his head nod in acquiescence.
I'll nod back.
Yeah.
Say thanks. In his head, I'll say thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so that's it, as far as you can be sure, that seems to be locked tight. The guard starts leading Henrik off. Father Lucian sort of turns to you all and says, "It'd be good if you could escort us back to sanctify the bones again."
How many do you need to? I mean, I know Jarek wanted you to go alone, or
No, Jarek wants to go with him.
no, as in Jarek wanted to go alone with him.
It wasn't so much that; it was just to get him away from the guards more than wanting to travel with him, so he didn't have to explain why we were going back. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, just accidentally rolled 2d6.
Yeah, fine. So Father Lucian would say, "Well, the more the merrier. We need, I need these back sanctified in the in the.
So I mean,
church.
I'll happily join as another holy
Just
man.
no singing this time, Dan.
I mean, as long as it's not a funeral, I only sing at funerals.
Weird. At this point, Fester's going to say to you all that because he can't be here today, that he's going to go off and investigate Rictavio's caravan, which seems a little bit suspicious.
I forbid it.
Well, it's tough.
Seems bad, buddy.
Well, like I said, as long as you don't try and get him killed, and if he disappears now, there's no chance that you can get the player character that's not here today killed, or sent to Castle Ravenloft by themselves.
How fast can we level up? Because I can learn Meteor Storm, and that hits the whole town.
He'll still survive.
Let's not do anything.
He's
like
a fire goose. He's got a fire goose. He'll live.
that.
So I'm just going to move forwards and say that Fester's gone.
Okay, we're going to miss the fire goose. That was always.
How do we get out of things now?
Yeah.
So who's going?
The old-fashioned way.
Is it me and Jarek going with? What's Rokkr doing?
I'll go with my buddy.
So we're back into our original parties.
Yeah.
The original parties, go.
Okay.
We've swapped the druid for a cleric.
So any okay, so that means that Rokkr and Akxikas are going to the Baron's mansion.
Yeah, going with the guards.
Yeah, and Nik and Jarek are going back to the church. Yep. Okay, we'll do the church first then.
Yep.
So you managed to make it back. It's only sort of 20-minute march across, perhaps 10-minute march across Vallaki to get back to the church, where Father Lucian cannot thank you enough. Irina and Gertrude are still there, with the small boy that I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Just call him small boy.
Yeah, Yaska. Yaska.
It was Jeff.
And Father Lucian's quite happy now that he's inside. All he's got to do is go into the undercroft, do his sort of ceremony spell. I think is it like a 10-minute cast or something like that.
No, I mean I think I've got it actually as well.
Yeah, I mean it can't. The hallowed ability comes from the bones, so they'll just have to sort of do a whole holy bit that'll take him 10 minutes, but that's it. The church is...
So is it the ceremony spell?
Yeah, why not?
Lasting time 1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour. Okay, so it's going to take him 1 hour. He's quite happy to stay here by himself. He doesn't think there's going to be any more threat.
Himself, because he's got the
You're not there, Downing. Shut up.
Right, I'm not there.
So, question is, what did you want? Did you have any other business with Father Lucian?
I don't think so, but I was saying, until it's complete, I'm not going to be leaving because we were asked to help re-sanctify the church. So, as far as Jarek's concerned, until it's re-sanctified, our job's not done. So until the process is complete, I'm just going to kind of stand in the doorway of the church.
I'm going to stay as well because last time I went off by myself, it didn't go well.
No,
it
did not.
That was a cunning use of Misty Step. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Also known as necessary.
Okay. So you two are bouncers on the front door of the church while the ceremony happens.
Have my fluorescent armband.
Yeah. Not a great deal else is going to happen. The hour goes by uninterrupted, and I'm quite happy for the church to be holy ground again. So that takes us to Akxikas and Rokkr.
Yeah, well, have we got where we're going?
Yeah, so the Burgomaster's mansion isn't a million miles away from where you are. Let me just double check. Yeah, so you're in just on the outside. Let me change your map just to remind you. So that's where the coffee maker's shop. The church is over yonder. This is the Burgomaster's house here. So it's a relatively short trip. So 20 minutes for Jarek and Nik, and 10 minutes for you guys to get to this point. What's happening, Adam? Is it loading?
No. Me and Dan just having a private joke.
Right. So you managed to get to the Burgomaster's mansion without any difficulty. Let's have a perception check from Rokkr, just on the way.
Keep thinking you say Rokkr.
The Rokkr.
Do that, isn't there?
It's a ranger, but on a really good day.
Yeah, it's an elf, but on a really good day.
Holy shit, Jim. Apparently, your perception's on fire, mate. If you do get into any combat this session, you're going to be absolutely rubbish, mate.
If you squint, you can see Strahd in his castle.
So for the godlike 29, that figure that's been lurking, you spot him again, and he's clearly trailing you.
Got fanboy.
Can I perceive his? Is he aggressive? Does he look a menace to me, or am I concerned about him following me in terms of my safety, or just annoyed that I've got somebody following me?
Let's have an insight check.
Do you voice this out loud, Jim, or do we not know?
No,
I
I'm
can't
just
think
trying to work
internally.
out
Everything's
the
out loud.
Inside check. That's on my skills, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is for lunch?
Aldo?
11.
Constantly. I'm looking forward to Pancake Day.
11's. It doesn't look like a threat to you. It just looks like he's following you. You can clearly tell with your perception that he's following you, and he has followed you for some time.
So I'm going to voice my concerns to Akxikas and explain that this guy's following us.
Right, brilliant. I'll ask the sergeant guard, the one who's in charge.
Yeah.
I'll just sidle up to him and say, being followed. Don't make it obvious. Don't look. Yeah, but when you get a chance, have a look at him. He's been following us for a while. And we'd like to know if you know who he is, and should we be worried?
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attribute a dice roll to the guard now, just to see, because he's still the guard leader. So he's not a complete dullard, but it's a dice roll just to see if, when you say "don't look now," to see if he does actually look now.
Is he called Officer Nobbs? He sounds like Officer Nobbs.
So what should we say? I'll just give him. You know what? I'm going to give him a DC 5 with a straight D20 roll, and it's fallen off my desk. It's a 7. Yeah, so that's fine. I'm going to have to pick it up now, otherwise I've lost my D20. So it's gone in the bin. Oh, bollocks.
You could have had a
That one's retired.
So
Most people have a dice jail.
yeah. No, I'm not superstitious about any of that nonsense. I found it from the bin. He will turn around quite subtly, and he'll say that that's Lady Voctor's man. That's Ernst. He's no threat to you. He's just he does for Lady Voctor.
Wonder why he's following us. I'll say to the guard again, surreptitiously, not blatantly, loudly.
Yeah, the fella that you're after is thanks very much, is far enough away that Ernst can't hear you, and he says, I couldn't possibly say other than the fact that if he's watching you, it's because Lady Voctor wants you watched.
Is Lady Voctor the
Hold up,
guy
Dan,
we
because
know
you're
from
not
Vasily?
there. Is it? Go on, ask your question.
Is that the person that Vasily said he was going to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Oh, I'd totally forgotten that, so I'm quite glad.
Okay. This is why I hate it when you split yourselves up.
Yeah. Right.
So note to self, do that more.
So, well, in that case, I think I'll speak. I'll go back to walking next to Rokkr and say, let's just ignore him for now. Just keep. I'll just say, you're good at this stuff. Just keep an eye on him. See, make sure he doesn't do anything threatening. But other than that, I think we should just leave it for now.
Sound good at this. He rolled 29. He's godlike at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So you can see him now, but obviously he can't see that you've seen him. You're subtle enough about it, and now that you have seen him, it's almost comical. It doesn't get to the point where he goes and rolls on his back behind a barrel type comical, but it's still, I mean, really. So the Burgomaster's mansion. This mansion has walls of plastered stone that display many scars where the plasters have fallen away from age and neglect. Drapes cover every window, including a large arched opening above the mansion's double entrance doors. It's a big building. It's probably the biggest building that you've seen in Vallaki. It towers above everything around it. The guard, there's 2 guards on the front portico. The guard will go up to them, and he will sort of, with his hand on Henrik, will walk up. They'll have a brief conversation, which you'll sort of overhear, and you'll hear that the Baron and Morrigan aren't in at the moment. They're conducting business in Vallaki to get ready for the next festival.
So we're gonna. And what time is it now?
It's, let's say, midday. It's exactly lunchtime.
Right,
Your dinner date with Morrigan and the Baron is, they said to you 7th bell, so 7 o'clock. So you've got 7 hours.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I've got no other business, but I think we should probably just go. I don't know. Well, suggestions now. So going and having something to eat, making strange noises.
Let's take this guy on a merry goose chase around the town. Just go and stretch your legs.
Yeah, is he following us personally, or is he following? Because we need to go. We need to go with the guards to the thing, don't we? Rather than wandering about, or do we? I don't know.
I like it though, Jim. That's so. In terms of places, I'll give you the brief of what you know about Vallaki then. So you've got the town square. That's where most of. Say again, sorry, dude.
pleasant this time of year, I hear.
Isn't it? That's where, in fact, Akxikas had business in the town square. You wanted to look for.
I wanted to look for a map, but we got one. That was my
so
main thing.
There are other shops there. You might be able to find some replacement arrows for Rokkr.
We can chop around, and if he needs anything, I think I'm alright. I'm just going to check, see what.
Okay, but that was your shopping destination. You haven't been to the inn yet, to the Blue Water Inn.
I assume we'll be staying the night there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily want to be visiting any establishments just in case anything kicks off or we trigger anything. We're just having a
Yeah, we've got a bad experience with that.
I keep running into people, but while my perception's quite high, I'm just gonna take in the sights, just wander around. Maybe how far are we? Do we know how long the chant's going to take to reconsecrate the grounds?
You don't know. You know where your oppos are.
So let's say we go for a wander round, and then perhaps we go near the church to see if we can work out what's going on. But we take 2 hours before we go and do that.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
So a protracted tour of Vallaki. You is there anything you wanted to know on the way round? Any questions that you wanted to ask of most because it is sort of a busy-ish town. It's a lot. There's people on the streets backwards and forwards. There's people going as if they're going to buy food and various bits of shopping. It is. I mean, it's Barovia, so it's dank and miserable and all the rest of it. And everyone that you meet sort of finishes their sentence with "all will be well" type thing, which is the Baron's name. But any questions?
Getting much notice? People scared of us, checking us out, pointing, stopping as we go.
I would definitely say, because Akxikas is there with his cowl on. Rokkr's there with his cowl on, and Akxikas is a devil. So it's
more than that would normally get.
Yeah. Well, you two, in fact, it's not a bad example for me to give. You guys are from Kryn, so there aren't many tieflings or assassiny looking elves wandering around Solace, for example.
Yeah.
So you're getting a slightly colder reaction. But yeah, it's not unheard of. You don't get any kids looking at you crying and running away or anything like that.
Yeah. I want to get a bat familiar so I can have it dangling from my unbroken horn and then go up to small children and go, "I'm Batman." That's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
But not yet.
So we need to get you the find familiar. I like to have a mission. So no particular business, just wandering around for X amount of time.
Yeah, having fun at the fellow's expenses, following us everywhere.
So I'm gonna just it's not necessary because you know he's there, but I'm just going to ask you to do another perception check, Jim, because I just want to see if you have another godlike.
Don't use them all up.
Well done.
Oh no,
I need a win, chaps. I'll be very quick.
That was it.
11.
That's all we used up.
Yeah, you still see him anyway, and he's clearly trailing you. And you also see that he seems to be carrying a notebook as well, and he's sort of jotting things down. Just because the DM's lazy, after a while, you eventually meet back up with your other two companions at the church as you make sort of a protracted journey round. So we're sort of 2 o'clock. You've still got 5 hours to burn before your dinner date, as it were, with the Baron and Morrigan. What do you want to do?
How did it go? You're back.
It wasn't there.
Oh, what took you so long?
Well, turns out there is a chap following us. He is the manservant of. Remind me again.
Lady Vocta.
Lady.
Oh, she's the one that Vasily was
There you
going
go.
to see.
Well done.
Hearing
There
that,
we go.
Jarek,
There we go.
hearing that,
David did
Jarek
it.
kind of, Jarek will be like looking around to spot him once he's heard this.
Yeah.
Let's have a perception check from Jarek then, because you're pretty perceptive. as
Perceptive.
well.
Apparently not so much at the moment.
No, you're completely useless. No, you've no idea where he is. I'll just roll a quick stealth for him. I'm
You're
pretty
looking back
sure.
into the
No,
church.
you've not spotted him. It's possible that he's not within eyesight of you.
He's fallen flat and rolled behind a barrel.
Combat roll. So what do you want to do?
I don't think really got much to do.
I was planning to see if I could find a silver longsword anywhere or commission.
Yeah, I do recall you saying you wanted to see if you could get that silver sword converted to a longsword.
I would quite like to have a weapon I can use that's made of silver.
Sure. So the best bet for that would be the town centre. Or town square. It would be more of a sort of a medieval turn as opposed.
I tried the toy shop, they couldn't help.
No, that's no good to you.
So unless anyone else has got business, I'd quite like to go and find sort of a smithy.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. We tried selling the gear here earlier, didn't we? And because I've got the prices marked of what we were offered. So that was in this town, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We hadn't sold anything, had we? We got 100. Oh no, we had sold it, hadn't we? Because
We've sold some bits.
gold.
I've got the bag of holding. I've got the bag of holding now with things correctly put in it.
So you've got what we didn't sell.
Yeah.
It was the jewellery box was one of them, I think.
Yeah. Cause
It's worth
and,
1,000, and we've been offered 300.
So we told them to go stick it up their ass.
Well, not quite, but we said no.
It's quite pointy.
Yeah. No, actually,
We
I
don't
think
want to cause any harm.
be in Rokkr there, I think. So.
So you probably did say that to them, so we can't go back to that shop again. At some point, we're going to have to beat down this tiefling.
It won't work.
It depends how hard we beat it down. If it dies, it'll work.
I'll only return in another form more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Nick looks into the distance and he's sure he's heard that before.
Wistfully. Okay, so heading off to the town square. That's going to take 10 minutes. So I'm just going to bring up the map myself just to remind myself what's there.
Yeah, so just as a recap, I've got the party gold as well as the items we didn't sell that are in it here. So
yeah, we've all got 100. We've all got 100. There, took 100 gold each, didn't we? And put them.
Yeah, you took 100 gold plus whatever you've got spare, and I've got the party gold of 226.
Down, lad, down.
Yeah, I remember. So in terms of what you've got, there's sort of a tailor shop,
Is there a butcher, a barber, and a candlestick maker?
No, unfortunately not. There's an apothecary. There's a Fletcher.
Acres are at the windmill.
A Fletcher bow. Yeah, there's a blacksmith leatherwork in there. Same building. So that's where you're going pretty much. There's a bookshop / magic shop. But when you went,
I've been in there. Is that where
you have, yeah. You didn't have a massive poke around, if I remember rightly. So you didn't inquire about tomes as such.
I'll go and ask if he's got, anything that would be.
Is there the medieval equivalent of a coffee shop?
Yeah. Well, there's stalls set up. There's somewhere to someone with a travel cart, pretty similar to Morgantha's, but they're not selling pies, and they'd be able to give you. It's wine. Everything in Barovia is wine that they sell.
Hot mulled wine.
Yeah, why not?
No. I'm going to go and have a hot mulled wine and just kind of sit out and wait for the other guys to wander around.
Okay. So the
How much does that cost me?
3 copper.
With a cigarette and a beret.
Actually, I think, after this, I want to see how much I could get a nice black robe from the tailors. Not extra super, just
I'm just kind of sat in the open area waiting for this lot to do their things. So there's nothing I want to buy at the moment.
Sure. So let's do Dan's first. So do
first.
Nick's first then. In terms of, and I'm pretty sure that you'd be expecting this anyway, is you discuss what's the fella's name? Thimdall. Thimdall's. Oh no, the place is Thimdall's Armaments. And it's I forget where I got this from. This isn't actually part of the campaign. This is some person put it on the internet, and it was quite good actually. Perisim Rowley, he's a grizzled old veteran. He can silver your longsword. It will take him. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm no blacksmith. Mark, you know about blacksmithing things. To actually silver a sword, what are we saying, a couple of days?
I mean, it depends how. I mean, the only way I can think of it that you'd do it without electricity is to melt silver and dip it in. So I imagine that would only take about. Oh no, but it's silver.
Well, that's going to chip off, surely.
Yeah, I'm just thinking he'd have to reforge the sword.
Yeah, you'd have to bind it.
So that's going to take. Well, we've seen from Forged in Fire they can do it in 5 days.
Right.
But that's at a big rush. Yeah, that's.
So yeah, you're talking
ideal.
Best part of a week.
I would say if you ordered the blacksmith wouldn't even offer to do it in 5 days. It'd have to be a really good reason for it. They'd want to take 2 weeks, I reckon. To make it look, if they're good blacksmiths, they'll want to make it look right, and they want to take pride in it. It'd take, so the blacksmith will quote about 2 weeks.
I'm a huge fan of fantasy.
There's certainly nothing ornate about this place. There's nothing mystical, arcane about it. He is.
Does he have any silvered longswords ready forged?
Sorry, mate. Fucking COVID. Yes. So option 1 would be that. I'd say a week. Option 2 is yes, he does have one silvered longsword, and when he pulls it out for you, it's old, it's battered. This thing, if it took too much damage, would fall to pieces. You can work out what that means game turns yourself, and that will cost you £1.50.
If you give him the silver short sword as well, would that not decrease? To use?
Yeah.
How much would it be to forge my own?
To forge your own, if you're giving up
flying the silver.
Yeah, you've got the longsword, you've got the silver. He would do it. Week's worth. Bearing in mind he's going to have to commit a whole week's worth for it.
The only way I could say it would work with a sword,
150 gold.
Need to sharpen is if the silver was somehow alloyed with the steel.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking about. It's got to be bound in, surely.
Yeah, and there'd need to be a sharp cutting edge that wasn't silver because the silver's really soft. So yeah, it'd be.
It's all right. We've sorted it, Mark. Don't worry.
Yeah. Sorry,
so it'd be 150,
and
supplying the short sword and the long sword. Or could I supply the short sword and he supplies the long sword, so I can still keep mine?
What's the price of a long sword in Player's Handbook? Because it's
25 gold, isn't it? Long sword.
Because it's not going to be that. It's going to be more expensive than that. Weapons.
Oh, you already got one.
Martial longsword 15
gold.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Let's put a roll in there then, Dan. Because you're supposed to be charismatic, and I always enjoy your rolls. Let's a persuasion check.
grape.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. As long as okay, you've caught him on a very, very good day. He will charge you the asking price for the longsword, assuming that you supply. You're gonna have to give him the short sword plus
Yeah.
some extra silver plus the 150 gold for a week. So that means, I believe, you're going to be without a silvered weapon for a week.
I mean, I'm very bad with the short sword.
And you've got other ways to deal damage anyway.
Yeah.
Where are you getting the extra silver from, Dan?
Well, all I know is because I assumed I'd need some more, I did take a handful of the silver cutlery off the table in the death house. I don't know if that's enough.
Did you write that down? Can you prove it?
I specifically.
I remember him doing it.
I
specifically took because it was before I found the short sword.
I told him off.
I took a silver knife just in case.
Yeah.
I had a go at him for stealing.
Okay, yeah, sure, that's fine then. So, deal?
I can.
Please say he's going to get a longsword back with a fork sticking out the top.
I can put down
Sticking out the
100 now
handle, so it's really uncomfortable.
as a deposit.
It just clicks up.
Yeah, it's a Swiss Army silver knife.
What's the price of a silvered longsword is it in the player's handbook?
No.
We just quoted 1.5 grand.
Yeah,
it's X amount time. It's normally X amount time the base item. It's like cold iron's 5 times the base item. I don't know what silver is, but
so he's not charging a ludicrous amount more than it would have been worth.
No, I mean a cold iron sword's meant to be like 5 times the base or something like that. So I assume silver's probably more expensive.
Yeah.
Although cold iron's meant to be really hard to work with, so I don't know. Could be either way.
What's that iron? Did you say? Or dark?
Cold iron.
Yeah.
He's. I mean, you very much get the impression this guy knows what he's on about. He knows what he's about, son. So
looking at my coin purse, I can afford 100. So can I put a deposit of 100 and pay the remaining 50 on collection, and leave the short sword and all silver with him?
You know what? With a persuasion of 26, mate. Yeah, he's quite happy with that. Say that last bit again.
So leaving the short sword and the extra silver from the cutlery, paying 100 up front,
yeah,
and 50 on collection to match the price it should be.
That's fine. Yeah.
I will take all of my gold off them.
Right, done. So you need to keep track of 7 days for me then.
Okay.
Can I be with him because I've just thought of something that a smith might be able to do for me.
Sure.
I would ask the smith. I mean, I can change gold pieces somewhere I could go in a shop and change gold pieces for silver pieces for the silver.
Yeah.
Would you be able to cast? We've got the amulet, haven't we? That the hags want us to deliver, which has got my eye in it. Show him the the amulet for so he can see the size, and ask if he could cast a solid silver ball bearing. If I give him the silver and a fee.
You want a silver eye?
Well, it'll tarnish black, but there'll still be bits. It'll look wicked.
So, what does it matter what material this is made out of?
Well, silver. I'd say silver's something that won't sort of dissolve in my head and kill me.
Silver coins aren't really silver.
Yeah, but they're a high percentage silver.
Yeah.
So you're looking for something to put in your head?
Yeah, a false eye, a glass eye, basically.
There's no way this can end badly.
At the minute, I've got a gaping, flappy socket, and it's not very nice.
Give him a wooden one, like the guy at Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm not having a wooden eye.
I still can't believe you actually had an eye patch, and it's still on the dog. That was harsh. That was harsh.
The dog's gone now.
Yeah. Forgive me, I forgot. Is the dog still with the hags, or did the dog make? No, the dog came with you.
Okay,
did you leave the dog at the church?
Probably with Teddy, it follows him around.
He's with Gertrude at church.
No. It I think it abandoned Gertrude in favour of
For Ted.
For Ted, yeah.
It did.
It's got eyes.
He would have as it happens, he would have a sphere available, which happens to be of that size.
Happens to have a spare eyeball.
Well, it is that size. Perhaps a pommel off a sword. Perhaps it's something that something that you can make do. For 5 gold.
Yeah, I'll knock 5 gold off and get that.
Okay.
And I said, what's it made of? Is it silver?
Well, please yourself, mate. As long as you're not sort of thinking platinum with diamonds in it, then what does it look like?
You've seen tarnished silver, don't you? It goes black. So what it looked like is the bits that get rubbed as I was like move my eye muscles will be silver, but it'll be like black with little bits of silver, and I think that'll look. The other eye's red, so I think that'll look quite badass.
That'll be nice. You need to develop a limp, dude.
I can help with that.
So I'll mark off 5 gold. Yeah, that's.
Okay, so
I want to go the tailors at some point, but I'd let everybody else do their shit first.
Well, that's any other business with the blacksmith leatherworker. Anyone else need anything?
I've already got the best armor I can wear.
I think Mark's going to want a really nice leather cod piece the way he's going.
Yeah, nice leather cod piece. So
like Blackadder's.
Yeah. I can't. No one would be surprised. That's fair.
No.
So and then in terms of your sort of black robe.
Yeah, just nothing fancy, just like a travelling robe, but black.
Yeah, 2 silver.
Right, wicked. 2 silver pieces.
So as Jarek's sat there in the afternoon, miserable weather, sort of sipping his frappuccino, or the Barovian equivalent of, you see Akxikas going backwards and forwards, looking more minging every shot he appears out of. It's the weirdest thing to actually watch.
If he does get all this and gets the cod piece, can he gain advantage on intimidation rolls?
I'm going to struggle to say no.
I'd need the cod piece. I don't suppose anyone ever listened to Wasp in the 80s.
Yeah.
Their lead singer Blackie Lawless used to wear a cod piece that looked like it was set up so it looked like there was a circular saw blade coming out of it. I think that'd give me an advantage. Either that or a humongous strap on.
Well, that's pretty much what Blackadder had.
Just stick with.
But no, I don't want. Shockingly, I don't actually want a cod piece at all.
Yet.
So
stick with the thaumaturgy, mate.
Yeah.
Wait until I learn suggestion.
Yeah. So I'll pop my eye. I'll pop my new eye in.
Yeah.
And put my robe on.
Nice.
I'll look proper wizardly.
Nice, son of darkness.
Yeah.
So
put my hood up.
The only other thing that you notice in the town square as you're sort of going to and from is the only thing that's changed since you were last here is they're setting up for the Festival of the Blazing Sun. So they've set up what looks like the start of an effigy, a Burning Man type thing that they're gradually building up. So every now and again, workers will come and pile up more wood, and you can tell by now there's still sort of 6 days until the festival. They've managed to get from the feet to the shin. This is going to be quite a large burning effigy by the time they've.
That's happening in 6 days.
Yes.
That'll help me remember, so I collect my sword the day after that.
Nice one. Oh, does that mean I've got to keep track of it now, haven't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice work, Dan.
That was smooth, Dan. Very smooth.
I am good at timekeeping.
So again, you've got the rest of the town. You've got sort of the magic bookshop if you wanted to go and have a poke around. In fact, I think, Mark, if I remember rightly, you did have a poke around. I got you to roll an arcana check.
Yeah, I was looking for a book on Ravenloft, and there wasn't any. It was just all about
and you failed the roll, which is why you didn't know much. I mean, being a tiefling from Avernus, You've managed to identify this as a demiplane of dread, so you're onto a winner already. Yeah, there is a bookshop. There's the apothecary if you wanted to try and pick up some.
We want to buy healing
potions.
potions.
There is. There was mention of Jenny Greenteeth is an apothecary out of town. So there's the apothecary in town, and there's the old lady outside of town. Let me just. What am I trying to find? Town of Vallaki. There are places that you haven't been. There's the inn still, Blue Water Inn. The Rokkr house you haven't been to. You haven't been to. Oh, Ted's at Arasek Stockyard, so stay away from that. We'll do that.
Yeah.
With him at some point. And then you were told about the Vistani camp, which is west out of the old Vallaki road. The Vistani weren't allowed into Vallaki that you haven't been to yet. There's the church that you can rest at. You've still got the best part of 4 hours before your dinner date with the Baron and Morrigan.
We've been, if we've had an interest taken in us by Lady, and Vasily has already said we can, pay them a visit. Do we go and pay them a visit and say hello whilst we're in town? I can.
Find out what they want from us.
Yeah, I can see if they've got a silvered longsword, which I thought of as I was buying it. But after rolling so well, I thought if I say I'll come back later, let me just check if I can get one for free. I don't think the 26 would have held up.
Why not? Let's go and chat. I want to know why somebody's been following me. Don't like being followed.
Sorry, Jim, missed that.
I said I want to know why somebody's been following me. I don't like being followed.
Right. Okay.
Sit with me.
That's the plan then, yep. Okay.
Pretty much.
Rokkr House is slightly north, so you're heading out along, so off from the Svalich Road, which goes all the way through, to the road that leads out of Vallaki to Lake Zarovich, where you and again this is quite an obvious house. This house seems distinguished with itself. This house seems disgusted with itself. A slouching roof hangs heavy over furrowed gables, and moss-covered walls sag and bulge under the weight of the vegetation. As you study the house, Sullen's countenance, you hear the edifice actually groan. Only then do you realise the extent to which the house hates what it has become. So it's a very, very Barovian house. It's very distinguished, very grand, old-looking house. Creepy as fuck.
Awesome.
What else is it going to be? What do you do?
Do we see anybody?
Let's have a perception check.
Go and knock on the door.
Do we see anyone? Oh, massive -1. 7.
Okay.
You saw 17.
No, you don't.
It's deserted.
It seems deserted, yeah.
There's no one in. We waste of time.
There's certainly no one around. No one looking suspicious. This is nowhere near as grand a looking establishment as the Barons, but it's still fine. You can tell it is nobility, as it were. So there's 3 stone steps leading up to a portico with the door on the other side. You walking up, knocking on?
I mean, do I have to go back to my paranoia and check for traps?
Well, the one time you didn't, it was a mimic.
Do the steps look okay? It's
It's the street itself. There's people about. This it's well worn. There's nothing making you think that something's going to leap out at you on the threshold of the building.
Are we all together now, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what have you done to your eye?
Poor new eye. It's wicked.
Quite bright.
Well, it won't be soon.
What have you decided it's made of in the end, Mark?
It's silver. What did I say?
So if we do come up against some werewolves, I don't have a silver longsword, so can I throw your eye at them?
You can if I'm dead.
Just grab him by the ankles and swing him.
Swing him as a weapon. Okay.
I've got strength 18, so I'm most likely to be able to do it.
However, Mark is not my packed weapon, so I can't use charisma to swing him.
I'm fine.
I like to groove.
I'll just use my brute strength and Mark's ignorance.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we doing? Are we walking up to knock on this door of this house? Because we were invited.
Yeah.
Where are we again?
Outside the woman's house that's spying on J-Mo.
So what Akxikas has actually done the entire war here
recall.
is
Did
he's
we knock on
closed
the
his
door,
actual eye. He's
Are we
closed his
gonna knock
actual eye to see if he can see through the silver one and followed the sounds.
Yes.
I do the traditional that knock.
Okay. So you met at the door. The door swings open.
And just before it opens, I smack Nick round the back of the head for that knock.
Yeah, no, you're quite right to do so as well. No roll required.
Sorry, no singing. Sorry.
Oh, it's a quick damage.
Yeah. Now, let me just give you the front of the building. Now, bear with me a second.
Won't. I need to wee again, chap. Sorry, I've got the bladder of a 2-year-old.
It's these chats. Right.
Well, he's gone. I'm just going to go grab another quick drink while the screen loads. Only 2 seconds.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
We had a short rest, didn't we, at the end of that thing? No. It was before we went into the funeral home, so we've not... would me and Adam have had a short rest at the church?
Yeah, sure. It was an hour, wasn't it?
Okay. Am I using a hit dice? Yes. I will use a hit dice.
Cool. What did... what are you now? You're 4 and 1?
Yeah.
So Paladin Hexblade. So 4 Paladin, 1 Hexblade.
Yes. I need to roll that d10 then.
And he's got level 1 idiot as well.
Perfect.
Oh, mate.
Do I use a second? Yes, I'll use a second hit dice, I think.
What's going on?
You can do it on D&D Beyond to roll your hit dice.
I did press it when I took the short rest, it just didn't actually roll it. It marks off my hit dice.
What's going on?
I've got to actually press the heart.
Yeah. So it marks it off and rolls it for you.
Oh wow. Cool.
Has that revolutionised it for you? And you've
what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening?
You've had a short rest, dude.
Oh.
Me and you did waiting at the church. Yeah. I'll use 2 lay on hand points to get me up to full.
Okay.
Sorry, I remembered I had jelly babies.
I healed 11.
Oh, there we go then. That puts. I'm glad you're using a smaller dice than me.
These are Iron Brew flavoured jelly babies as well. Check me out.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Do they taste of girders?
They do taste of girders, but in a small semi-humanoid jelly-like form. So
they more taste like iron filings.
Are you a head biker or a leg biker?
I'm just eat the fucking thing.
Oh.
Yeah, smash the baby.
I'm a bit healthier. I've got olives.
Oh, I do like an olive. Have you ever had
buns as well?
Have you ever had Bertie Bott's every flavoured beans?
Yeah.
They're minging.
Yeah.
No, some are.
They're meant to be.
75% of them are minging. I had a look through the list. I may be.
Is that your perspective? Is that your perspective or an actual stat?
No, like, at least 2/3 of them were sort of earth, earwax,
Earthworm,
you know, or
We've gone
horrible
from
sounding
75 to
vomit,
66.
and they tasted horrible. Complete waste of
Earwax is meant to taste horrible.
To be fair,
but if you,
I never bought them again either.
If it's a mix and match, you want at least 50-50. You don't want 75%
It's random.
Ming.
No, to be fair, I'd want about 1 in 10 to Ming.
I mean, if you didn't want them to Ming, don't buy Bertie Bott's overpriced beans.
Well, we'll never do it again.
I'll be honest,
it was
I've
just
never
for
done
Tess.
it.
7th birthday. And butterbeer. Have you ever tried butterbeer?
Yeah, it's
I
vile. Well, no, I say it's vile. It's vile when you never get told you're meant to mix it together and you drink it as the two separate things, pour it all down the sink and go, what a waste of £6. Turn around and watch everyone mix it and go, actually, that's probably not that bad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's vile if you don't mix it.
I just finished it because I'm a tightwad.
No, awful if you don't mix it. I imagine it's quite nice if it's mixed.
Right.
But otherwise, it's just, you get a really heavy buttercream taste and then bad soda.
Yeah, that's a bit iron brewish as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't quite figure out what it was. Yeah. Adam's gone now.
I think he's just going to get a drink.
Right, okay. Fucking COVID.
I thought it was a piece of sponge for quite a while, but it turns out I'm not. So
You what, mate?
I thought it was a piece of sponge for
3
a while.
times.
Yeah.
Mate.
Tested positive. Yeah, I know. I've not left the house again for a week. I know. Yeah, there's a circular patch in my garden where I've just been walking round and round. Tess has had it as well, so she's been off school. So, but Seth hasn't. He's been fine.
What's going on with your immune system?
Well, in fairness, I've not really been poorly. Last time I had it, I wasn't poorly at all. Totally asymptomatic.
Just remember, I had feta to go with me olives.
Oh, good combo.
Yep.
Should
Anyway,
we
I'm
carry
back.
on? Where are we? Quarter past 9. Let's get a bit more done. So, so you have the knock on the door and then the slap on the back of the head as you're met. Have you got the map, by the way?
It's up on the screw. Not the new one. We've got the town map.
Yeah, time map.
Hold up. That's because it's
Town map.
There you go. Try that one.
It's just a picture of a walrus again.
Oh, it's all brand new, so it's got more to load.
Yeah, taking a while. It says whack to house.
You gotta whack the house. Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
Oh, there we are. Oh, on the map, does that mean we get to kill things?
I'm just going to take you off and then put you back on again.
I wasn't even there.
Because I don't think. No, I didn't. Sorry. There. Right. So you met at the door by what appears to be a cook, a chef. So he's got a chef's hat on, and all of the accoutrements with bits of food down him and all the rest of it. So Jarek opens the door. There's the house cook, and as he opens the door, from behind you, you see this fella appear. If you can see, you got the map.
Ernst Long.
Yeah, he's the fella that's been following us.
He's the fella that's been following you. So as you knock on the door, and this house cook, he's about to sort of say something to you when this lad turns up, and he's doing that sort of comedy walk where he's trying to not look like he's running and walk, or you know what I mean. He's doing a sort of
A dad run.
yeah, if you like, and he'll say, hello, can I help you?
How what?
Can I help you?
Not really. We're looking for the people that live here.
So what he'll do is, you can see he's trying to not barge past you, but he's trying to get the other side of Jarek, while saying to you, "Yes, no, that's my responsibility. I am Lady Vokter's man. Can I assist you?"
I'll put my hand on his chest to stop him coming past me, and say, "Is it Vasily?" Was the name of the guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here at the invitation of Vasily.
Okay. So I'm going to have an insight check from Jarek then.
Uh-huh.
So Ernst has got his back to you three guys, and he's just looking at Jarek.
That's a fairly solid 18.
That's a pretty good 18.
Looks 18-y.
It does look 18-y.
Yeah, you notice a very brief flash of
Jealousy?
no, fear, and then confusion. And as he says to you, "Oh, Lord Vasily, yes. Now, let me ask, did you meet Lord Vasily on the outskirts of town? Did you help him with the undead?"
Yes.
Yeah, so he looks around and he's trying to place you. He'll have a reasonable job at it. I think what he'd probably do is he'd say to Jarek, you'd be Nik or Jarek, so he knows your names, and he sort of places you all. But he just seems to think that Jarek is Nik and Nik is Jarek.
Flick him in the nuts. Not me, obviously.
I'll correct him. I don't want to be mistaken for Nik.
Okay, right. He says,
I run my hand through my hair and go, no, I'm Nik.
Yeah, I've got no hair.
Oh, damn, that made me cringe a little bit inside. Well done, mate. Well done. Right, I'm going to have to move on from that rather rapidly. He says, "Oh no, it's good of you to come. I've been wanting to meet with you. Lady Rokkr would like to extend an invitation to you to come and dine with her. I'm pretty sure she's going to be busy at the minute, but would you be available to come and perhaps have a meal with her at some point?"
So I've still got my hand on his chest, so I look across to Rokkr and just ask, "Is this the one?" As has been following.
Nice.
And then look back to Ernst and say, "If you've wanted to speak to us, why have you not spoken to us and just been tailing my colleagues?"
So you've caught him on his back foot. He's starting to look a little bit nervous, sweat dribbling down his forehead. He says, "Oh, yeah, sorry, it's just no, I didn't want to. I mean, because sorry, I didn't mean to get in your way." And you can tell he's very nervous.
Lick the sweat off his brow and really intimidate him.
No.
Actually, that intimidation is a good idea.
That's twice in 2 minutes, Dan. I'm
Oh, Dave,
Yeah.
in an attempt to appear more fearsome, I say I'll do a little thaumaturgy so my eyes glow bright red.
Nice.
Just the one.
He's not looking at you.
And draw my dagger with the Ratskull pommel and just sort of point it at him and say, "You will tell us."
Mark, don't point it at him. Just start picking your nails with it.
And I'll, and so I'll go for an intimidation. Let's see
Go
what
for
I
it.
get.
Picking your silver eye with it.
You can have advantage, Mark. 16's pretty good, but if you want to see if you can roll,
I'll see if I can
it.
beat it.
I'm waiting.
Here we go. No.
No, 16. 16's still pretty good. So he's sort of, you can tell as he turns towards you, with Jarek's got, his meaty fist pressed. He's gone for more feta, hasn't he? With Jarek's meaty fist pressed on his chest, and then Akxikas starts doing his thing. He's sort of you can tell he's looking around to see if anyone's going to overhear him, and he turns to the chef and he says, "That'll be all, Johnny." So Johnny disappears.
Johnny Chef.
Johnny Chef.
Surely it's Jeff. Chef.
Chef. It is now. Let me just change his name. JEOFF. Jeff Chef. So Jeff disappears, and he sort of looks again. He looks around to make sure he's not overheard. He says, "Lady Rokkr just asked me to keep an eye on you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything on it. If you just hear her out, that's all. She'll explain everything."
Well, why didn't you just say that to start with? Put my dagger away.
So I'll, at that point I will take my hand off the chest and step sideways on so he can pass me easier.
Sure. Okay. So he sort of moves towards, and he says, "So can I tell Lady Rokkr that you'd like to dine with her, perhaps this evening, perhaps at the 8th bell?"
We can't do this evening.
Oh,
but
we can do proper Vicar of Dibley. Let's get how many meals can we get tonight? Let's just go around town and book ourselves
running
in.
from one to the other. No, I'll just say we already have prior arrangements tonight. But if your lady is free, we will meet her now.
Spoil sport. Okay. He'll say, "Well, I can go and check." Okay.
Do you need me to follow you, or does it not work both ways? Or
he's
What?
Oh, you
to him?
To him.
Yeah.
I
Do you need us to follow you, or does that not work both ways?
Oh, very good. He says, "Look, I'm sorry. Let me go and see if the lady's around." I think it'd be quite obvious to you that he's sort of looking around. He doesn't want to appear impolite, and he doesn't know. I think you'd probably be able to tell without a dice roll that he's not sure on the etiquette here. He's not sure if he should let you in and say, "Oh yeah, just wait while I have a look to see if she's in."
We'd love to take a seat. That'd be.
Well, I was just going to say, I was just asking, can we just wait in the hallway?
Okay, sure. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because you'd be able to see a little bit of it, I'm going to take Jarek and put you there. The hallway, there's not really much there.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, you happy there?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So it's
unintrusive.
Across the threshold.
Say again, sorry, dude.
It's unintrusive. That's fine.
Yeah. He says, "Yep, sure. I'll. If you leave me, I'll just go and have a look. What I'll do, I'll open this next door for you so you can discover the map, because there still isn't a great deal for you. And he will walk through and shut the door behind him.
Can we not move our own characters at the moment?
Yeah. Did you you changed
I
the room,
can't.
didn't you? Hold up.
Oh, what?
You're Adam.
Oh, right. That's possibly why I was struggling to log into thing earlier, wasn't it?
It's all right. Got you. Now then, just.
Thank you.
That's all right. No problem. Just before you spin yourself around like a mad idiot, let me just save your.
I can't do that anymore. I've got a new mouse.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me just save your token.
Scrolly wheel. Have you not got a scrolly wheel?
The old mouse had a disconnecting scrolling wheel that could just go into free spin.
How did I put you?
Right.
And it sends things berserk.
You'll. Oh, Dan. You'll have to remind me for things like spiritual weapon, Adam.
Oh, you left it in the coffin shop.
Yeah, it did. It's floating around the coffin.
You won't be able to control it unless you remind me.
Yeah, so remind you.
Yeah, and it takes a couple.
The next guard that walks into the coffin shop's going to get attacked by.
But only lasts. Is it a minute it lasts for, or?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
not there now. It's just that novel experience. They walk in. There's just this mace that comes at them.
Oh, I hope that your mace is actually knocking nails back into coffins, just doing a bit of.
That's overkill, isn't it? So Ernst is going to go through this door here, and he's going to shut it behind him. But you see him heading towards this way as he walks around. So all you've seen is pretty much, as you can see, there's the stair going up to the second floor, door to the east and west. That's all you can see. As he, let me just pop him there so you can't see him. So he wanders round.
Rock has jumped on top of Nick.
What are you guys going to do?
Mark, are you coming inside? Mark, are you coming inside, or are you just going to look?
Yeah, I'll come in with you. Turn myself into a little baboon. I can't do that, so I'll just.
Not yet.
Yeah.
You need polymorph for that. I think you can do it as one of your invocations.
I'd so be a gibbon. Definitely.
Well, I mean, you are a gibbon, but
gibbon's a race, though.
So, anything you wanted to do while you're waiting in this vestibule, as it were?
I'll pick my nose. Maybe flatulate quietly.
Quietly and deadly, or just quietly?
I don't know. I think that'd be a roll of some kind.
It's going to be a constitution save.
Because if you do, that's incredible.
Well, no, you can definitely sort of try to force it out faster so it makes a ludicrous noise, but certainly not at our age. But you're asking for trouble.
Has Mark just accidentally cast Death Fog?
As a teenager and a 20-year-old, I could quite happily just push really hard till you get a trumpet-like effect. It was It's quite amusing.
Stick,
Almost.
File that in the glad I asked category. So
It's like lighting farts.
Is that the glad
Possibly.
I asked category?
Lighting farts is the funniest thing ever.
I have seen you do that, Mark.
It's so funny when you're drunk, though.
Right, let's move on to Voktr. He comes back after a minute or two, and he says, "No, sorry, Lady Vokter's not available at the moment. She is indisposed."
And Vasily?
Okay.
Lord Vasily also, I believe they're out for the day.
Well, just tell her we dropped by. Make our apologies. So we've already got. We're going. We have to go to the Baron's.
We'll name drop that we've got an engagement with the Baron tonight.
We'd love to. We'd love to meet her at some other.
And unfortunately, we will be out of town for a few days after this.
Yeah.
But we would, on return, we will let them know that we are back in town if they're free to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on hearing this, Ernst, it'll sort of. Okay. Bear with me one moment, and he sort of disappears back through the door again, shut behind him.
There we go.
And I know that was good. And he comes back and says, "Yeah, no. Actually, forgive them for it. The lady is a very devout lady. She was in prayers and didn't mean to be disturbed. So I didn't." And again, he's still looking nervous with how you've reacted with him.
I have an insight check, just to see if I think this is genuine or whether he's acting.
Okay, go for it.
Mediocre.
17.
17, not
yeah,
bad.
17's pretty good. Yeah. What you're getting from him is, yeah, she was available all along, but type thing. But he didn't want, or she didn't want to be impolite about it. Type thing. So he says, yeah, no, she'll if you come through, follow me into the into the dining area. Lady Voktr will come and meet you shortly. So he opens.
Can I just ask him his name again?
Ernst.
His full name?
Ernst Larnack.
Okay, I write that down in my book.
In the book.
Your name will also go in the book.
He just made the list.
He did.
Has anyone ever seen that sketch from the Mitchell and Webb show where they're SS officers?
Yeah. That. To be honest, that was the only funny one for me.
Yeah, it was generally a bit shit, wasn't it?
I did like Numberwang, but are we the baddies?
That's now been in both our campaigns, Bob.
They've got skulls on them.
So
everybody into the dining room. Come on.
Everyone into the dining room.
On people.
An ornate dining table.
Not on top of me, Nick.
Oh. Piggyback.
An ornate dining table stretches the length of this room, a crystal chandelier hanging above it imperiously. The silverware is tarnished, the dishes chipped, yet are all still quite elegant. 8 chairs, their backs adorned with sculpted elk horns, surround the table. Arched windows made of lattice and iron glass look out into the small fog-swept estate. So again, you get the impression that this is a grand house. It has seen better days. It's fallen into disrepair. A nice roaring fire here, stocked up with logs on the other side. And from this door here appears quite an imposing looking woman.
I'm just kind of stood warming my hands by the fire.
Lady Voktr, I take it?
Yes, she'll say.
I apologise. We did not wish to disturb your prayers.
No, that's quite all right. I did wish to welcome the heroes of Vallaki. Ernst tells me that you wish to speak to me. It's I was delighted that you paid a visit. So what can I do for you?
Well, it was more we'd come on the invite of Vasily, and then our visit was sort of sped up when we noticed a good friend here trailing us in town.
Ah, yes, that's Ernst for you. And she looks up and says, "Ernst, that'll be all, thank you." And he sort of bows and doffs his cap and does one. And she sort of gestures towards the seating area. So I'll introduce myself. Forgive my manners. I'm Lady Fiona Rokkr. It is a pleasure to make the acquaintance of such heroes as yourselves. What do you want to do?
So it was mainly me, but I can't take all the credit. Oh, yeah.
You're not even in the room to talk to her, man.
Oh.
She's come on. She's gestured for us to go and sit down on the couches.
Oh, those ones! I'd gone over to the Elkhorns. Cool.
Who's landed on top of her?
I mean, that's probably a little bit familiar, Rokkr.
Did you drop the big
He's
elbow?
a Gloomstalker. She didn't even notice him.
People's elbow.
Just kind of walked up and lay down across the sofa on top of her.
So
I bet you didn't know, right? The people's elbow is the most electrifying move in sports entertainment.
Thanks, Mark. So she'll say to you, so who may I ask your names?
I'll provide the introductions.
Oh, I'm Jarek. This is Nik.
No.
Slash.
I'll provide the introductions just so Dan doesn't do any shenanigans.
So as you're introducing yourself, there's a sort of a serving girl will come and put drinks down. So let's say tea, a tray with tea, and pours one for each of you if you wish to partake of a cup of tea with Lady Fiona Rokkr. She says, "So gentlemen, what is it?" Oh no, she's already asked that, hasn't she? So she'll say, "Yeah, Lord Vasily. Yes, he told me a great deal about you. Well, you pretty much. He didn't use the words rescued him, but he did say that you aided him greatly on the road. I got the impression that you did actually rescue him. And then here you are rescuing the whole town from a nest of the undead."
Yeah, it was again. It was mainly me. But...
How did that news reach you?
Yeah, I was saying news travels fast. How? Yeah.
Oh, it is only a small town. Once something of that magnitude happens, the Baron has been trying to foster the delusion that if he keeps everyone happy, he's going to keep evil out. However, evil still finds a way in, and we all know about it. But unfortunately, that Baron fellow thinks that if he keeps us all happy, it'll keep the evil at bay, which is completely ridiculous, of course.
What's the Baron like? I'll ask her.
Oh, and she's doing a sideward glance now, and so she'll sort of say, "Oh, why? Have you met him?"
Yeah, I've met him. Can't say I can't say he made a positive first impression with me. But I have only just met him, so that's what I'm inquiring. What's he actually like?
Did that comment harm her or put her on edge? And he said when Akxikas said he didn't like him.
Let's have an insight check from you then, from Nik.
Ooh.
I'm just going to feed the cat.
Here we go.
He has no idea.
She is
with
hard
that
to read. She's got a face of stone.
With that low, whatever Dave tells you, it probably is the opposite.
You're currently
I'm going to believe all of it.
You're currently choking on your English breakfast, and so you've no idea. She seems unfazed, and she'll sort of say to you, honestly, although I know it could get me in trouble, and she's sort of doing that sort of conspiratorial, sort of slightly older lady type gossipy lean forwards. He's an absolute imbecile.
I'll lean forward with a go on.
Yeah, nice. Well,
And I'll kind of lean back and raise my eyebrow, looking at Nick at this point.
she's taken in. She's taken in by Nick's house. She says, well, thinking that just all is well. Good God! And you can tell she seems to be getting things off a quite ample bosom now. And she is calling him left, right, and centre. It's ridiculous to think that if everyone's happy, he's going to keep evil at bay. He's been doing it for years, and that Morrigan creature is she's just vile. Do you know people have been tortured? I'm just very quickly going to give her an insight check.
What?
Well, the good news
As
is
to whether she's noticed that we've got a typhoon sat here.
Yeah, she rolled well, so she does notice a reaction from Akxikas.
What did I do?
What did you do? She's noticed it, and she's
You just
started
insulted
slagging
your
sister
sister.
off.
Yeah, I asked her a question.
Oh, sorry. Right, I beg your pardon. Sorry. She'll sort of, she can tell she's backtracking now. She went into full old lady gossip, and she knows she's overstepped the mark, and she'll sort of say, "Oh, I'm sorry. No, perhaps I've overstepped my bounds. I mean, it's just rumour. The Baron. People sometimes go missing. Sort of malcontents, ne'er-do-wells when it's close to festival time. People get summoned to the Baron's mansion and then sometimes never seen again. It's the strangest thing, and I know that.
Yeah, I figured you'd say something along those lines for some reason.
It's a big place, and
it was
easy
in
to
the
get
back
lost.
of my head saying, "Yeah, I think that confirms I don't like the cut of his jib, and now I know why."
Yeah. Well, she continues. It's just, well, the thing is, because really, it's the Baron that's bringing the town down, which is why I'm pleased I had this chance to talk to you all today. My family and I, with Lord Vasily, we are in a favourable position in terms of the town. We would like to take the town.
We've got a coup.
And you can tell she's trying to be coy. She's presenting as if she doesn't quite know how to.
So at this point, I'll kind of lean forward as like I'm used to the dealings of smaller towns and families. Did your family used to be like in controlling power of this town?
Honestly, no. It has always been with the Vallakoviches. The Baron is of old blood, but so are we. And we have been on terms for hundreds of years, but it's just come to the point where enough is enough. Change must happen for the best of the town, for the betterment of the town. And forgive me for asking, for being so bold, but is this something that you think you could possibly aid with?
We don't know yet.
Lady, we've not been in town long enough to know how things around all the True Bounce power. All we have is, hearsay and what we've seen and what little we've seen so far, and hearsay from the people we've spoken to. Maybe this is a conversation better left for after meeting the Baron. I mean, at this point, I've not even seen the Baron yet.
However, please be assured we are not ones to gossip.
60-12.
Okay. So she seems when with everything that the two of you, apart from Downing, who's just rolling random 60-12s, have said to her, she seems not alarmed when Jarek starts talking to her, but she seems placated after Nick said, you're not gossips. And says, well, I mean, by all means, have a look around, see what you think yourself. I mean, it's quite self-evident. We're here. We aren't going anywhere. I mean, I have tried to arrange several. Let me put it this way. Let me be blunt. My youngest daughter Stella. The Baron has a son, Victor, and I thought if I could arrange a marriage that should, tie the two families together. She returned after 2 days, and she's not spoke since. This is a month ago. Not one word out of her. She seems broken and sullen. Something is going on, and any help that you could give us.
Is there any clericiness that anyone can, that our cleric can do that might be able to divine what it is? Does it detect?
I'm just having a quick look, Mark. I'll come back to you in a sec.
Detect smegma or something of that ilk.
There's nothing that's jumping out at me.
I mean, I've got nothing really. I mean, we could do healing, but that's not going to fix it, is it? Not well.
No, not without knowing what it is. There's nothing that really jumps out at me that could help with that.
I can compel her to a duel.
I don't see that's going to help.
I mean, it'd be funny, but
it just means she's got disadvantage on you guys.
I'll come back to some quick read through.
I'll tell you what, Adam. Have a medicine check with Jarek for me.
Yeah, okay.
Can I give him a D4?
Yeah, sure.
Give you D4.
Well, I've got a 23 without the D4.
Yeah. Roll a D4. It's the dice. You've got to be rolled. It's 24.
24.
Okay, it sounds like if you sort of pry a little bit, as symptoms wise, it sounds like a version of madness. But unfortunately, it is something that's beyond your current capabilities. This would be a restoration of, not of a lesser.
Not a lesser, a normal. I don't know if there's normal and greater.
Some might say a greater.
Just greater.
Okay.
But yeah, it's something beyond your capabilities as it stands.
Right. Well, that's very helpful. It means we don't waste any more time to do that.
Yeah.
So there's nothing we can do. We have to tell her that, fortunately, as we stand, there's.
Hold up, Jim was talking. He's just very quiet.
Oh,
no, it's all right. I was interrupted. Carry on, Mark.
I've forgotten what I was saying.
Can I now start? So
yeah.
It depends on what we think. Do we think we can get anything out of her if she's mad? Can we convince her that we are going along with the plan just to see, not to exploit her, but just see where she's going with this? Because if she's prepared to engage
mad,
with
right?
us,
the daughter's mad.
Not her.
Apologies.
Yeah, by all means, Jim. Did you want to ask her any questions then? Did you want to?
I'm the silent type.
You are sulky in the corner.
Oh, his microphone's all part of the role play.
Okay, so I mean, I'll then express to her that obviously, as I said, our silence doesn't need to be bought. The more information we know about this town, the better for ourselves. We do have dinner with the Baron tonight, and then we will be out of town for a few days before we return.
We hope we return. We've been waylaid by wolves on several occasions, and we are ill-equipped to defend ourselves against such creatures.
I'm not.
Oh, here we go. She'll respond to that by saying, "Oh, really? But it sounds like you know how to handle yourself very well."
Well, a little bit, Killed a few.
Getting closer every time.
Yeah, almost as if you were going up levels. I'm trying to desperately look for something in. So So she'll say, by all means, if you wish to return at any point, my door is always open to you.
Very kind.
She'll say, unfortunately, I'm not able to introduce you to the rest of my family. They're all busy at the minute. I mean, it's pointless introducing you to Stella. She's no, bless her. She's not. You're not going to get anything out of her. My sons, Carl and Nikolai Jr. are out at the moment, so I'm not going to be able to introduce you to those. And my husband Nikolai Senior is resting. Bless him. He's past his prime, but he leaves the estate to me. So we've not missed out much there. Again, she's doing the sort of conspiratorial old lady type, moaning about her husband now, as opposed to moaning about the Baron. But it's not. There's nothing malicious about it.
Did we say she's a bit quite an older lady, or
yeah, you'd place her. I mean, if you sort of hover over the picture, that's the best picture I could find to kind of emulate.
I still would actually.
Sorry, I had completely pictured Mother from Futurama.
Right, I'm just going to push the bottom mark first. Well, she has got a backbone. And then you'd place her. I'd like to think of her with sort of slightly more grey, so sort of tinges of grey. So 50s. If you were being polite, you'd say late 40s.
Lunge.
Humans in Faerun don't tend to last that long anyway. That's fine. So with that in mind, with her age, I will just ask, what does she know of Strahd?
Interesting. Straight for the throat. So at the
but I mean, basically, I'll explain that. From here, we have we've got a meal with the Burgomeister tonight. We've got an engagement to meet the Count in his castle. Obviously, you've been in these lands all your life. What do you know of the Count?
Okay. What in response to that, what she'll do is she'll sort of, you can tell that she looks there's definitely a little bit of astonished in there when you mentioned the Count, and then when you say you've been invited to lunch, there's in fact, let's have an insight just to see how much you do get.
Where's my insight gone? There we go. 21.
Brilliant. A little bit of jealousy as well.
Ooh. Okay.
And she sort of sits back and says, well, heroes, and then dealing with the Lord of the land, you are remarkable. You are a remarkable group. And she'll sort of say, in terms of how I feel towards him, well, let me take it back to the context of the Baron. Rather the devil than a madman.
Interesting. Okay.
And again, she's doing the conspiratorial old lady, sort of knowing nod at you. And she pours another tea and offers you around a fondant fancy.
Get away from me, son.
Yellow for me, by the way, fondant fancies. You can actually buy 6 packs of yellow now, and I just go for them.
Okay.
Are they lemony?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I like them.
Can we have a baby flavoured one for the tiefling?
Don't like babies in any way. I don't want to be involved with babies in any point of my life, let alone my digestive system.
Would you like another pie?
No, you haven't got that pie anyway, because I booted it in a ditch when I woke up with it on my face.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't me. That was so mean. Okay.
Yeah, that was the reason I had to squeeze your testicles a bit later on.
We were doing so well.
You were. But you were. Okay, so where else are we going to take this then? So she's quite happy to sort of sit there, and she'll start asking you about your backgrounds, where you're from, your families, your hopes and dreams, and all the rest of it. What did you want to do?
I'm quite happy just to wail away a little bit. I would say there's probably a bit more information here, but I imagine we'll be coming back in the future. So Jarek's quite happy. Jarek's quite happy just to chit chat for a reasonable amount of time until we can reasonably leave, unless anyone else has questions.
I'm not gonna snack too much because I'm looking forward to the meal.
Yeah, same here.
And he wants to make sure he still fits inside his armour.
That too.
I've actually fallen
That's the
asleep.
problem.
Jarek's a bigger frame. It's not that much of a problem.
I hear these make your hair fall out.
Sorry, Jim, go on.
I've actually fallen asleep, but you can't tell because my hood is covering me, so I'm just going to
We can hear it.
You're an elf. It's not a sleep. It's a trance.
So in that case, does J-Mo definitely get a short rest?
Well, what you get occasionally, you hear a bit of a rumble, and then one of the corners of his cowl gets a little bit darker as the drool sort of congealed. So anything else you wanted to ask? Anything else you wanted to do in the Vokta?
Not that I can personally think of offhand.
Okay. I'll ask what her opinion is on Bukkake.
Oh, come off it.
I'm going to have to Google that later, aren't
I? No.
Okay. Thanks for the warning. Sometimes, and it's mostly because I know him, that I enjoy being innocent.
Don't Google. If you're going to Google it, do it on a private browser.
Yeah.
No, fair play, Dan. Right, so you make your excuses. Shut up, Downing. You make your excuses. You sort of start saying, your goodbyes. You're leaving on good terms. I'm not going to sort of
shake your hand.
So thank you for the tea. Thank you for tea. I'll snaffle a single more fondly fancy as I leave the door.
Nice. She sees you to the door and says, anytime. Just if you knock on the door, I'll let all of my staff know that you're welcome anytime. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And just as we leave and kind of shake hands, I'll just express, please inform Ernest not to kind of tail us around town again.
And is there any chance, just before we go, if you're genuine with what you're saying, can we possibly come back? Is there any spare rooms here where we could sleep? Because we're not from round here.
I'm very sorry. All of my spare bedrooms are taken up with the staff. It's a very busy household.
Well, thank you anyway. Just trying to save us an inn bill. That's all.
The inn is very very.
A cup of tea and just say, "Can I crash?"
Can I crash?
Yeah.
The inn is very comfortable, very welcoming. It is the finest inn in Barovia. I'm told.
Will you pay for it for us? No, I won't.
I'm just gonna say encounter over because Downey's gonna say something else stupid in a minute if I don't. You leave on good terms. The door closes. So that all told, what we're saying, lunch with late afternoon tea. Let's call it 5 tea time. Still got
I'm going to go and take a short rest in the inn.
Oh, so this would normally be on holiday when you pop back to the hotel room for a shower and a quick change of clothes.
Yeah.
On holiday, I like it. In Barovia.
Yeah. Well, no, this is I would say at this point I'm going to indicate that we need to go and make sure we've got an inn secured for the night. We haven't got a room booked.
I'm heading there, so I'll see.
So we need to find an inn, get a room booked, so we can leave what we need to leave and have a room, so we've got somewhere to go back to after the meal.
Yeah, I'll say if you want to come with me, great. But I'm heading back there.
We haven't got.
There. We haven't been
heading
there
back. We haven't got.
Yeah, we haven't been there.
Yes, we all need to go. We all need to go together, and then someone then needs to just notify Fester which room we've got booked, so he can return there at his own leisure.
Well, there's only one inn, so we'll give him the We'll give the barb, the innkeep, Fester's description. So when he inevitably comes looking for us, he can tell him where we are.
Yeah. So whatever the inn's called, we'll book a room for us all for the night. At this point, 'cause obviously we know that are we saying Fester is? We know he's not coming with us tomorrow, or not?
I think what we'll say, it depends what time we finish. I reckon we've got another half an hour in us, or do you want to? We can leave it there if you want. It's a reasonable place to leave it.
I reckon we could do half an hour.
Well, let's see if we can get the Burgomaster's meal done, because that's going to be another chatting bit. So in theory, next session we maybe set out in the morning.
Unless
that face looked like something big.
My insight check there tells me that it's not just a chat.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make a history check for no reason.
Do not play poker, mate.
I don't know anything about history.
Don't play poker.
Well,
what do you have to roll for insight on the DM?
It's just this big round thing. Just look at it. All I'm thinking is you haven't got your rooms yet. I mean, we can skip past that. Let's put you at the inn. Let's play it by ear. See how we do in half an hour's time.
I would say.
I mean, the inn. All it will be at the inn is booking a room for 5 of us for one night, and then also saying that we may need a room for one for additional nights after that, but we don't know yet.
Gotcha. So let me I'll bring the inn up for you just for the sake of completement.
And that'll be party gold. I mean, I don't know how much inns in Barovia cost. I know how much they cost in Main Faerun, but not in this place.
Yeah. Visible. So Blue Water Inn, as you approach, grey smoke issues from the chimney of this large 2-storey wooden building with a stone foundation and sagging tile roof, upon which several ravens have perched. A painted wooden sign hanging above the main entrance depicts a blue waterfall. This is it, I believe. No,
I'm on 32 of 33 loaded.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Sometimes if I press it again, it might give it a little bit. So it's a grand looking building. In front of you are the front steps and the second story. It's like a Tudor building where the first floor is stuck out from the ground floor, so it sticks out over your head as you approach. It's stone buttresses keeping it afloat. Double doors in front of you. There's typical Barovia day. It's grim, but this place actually looks quite inviting. Looks warm and inviting. Have you got the map?
Yeah. Have we shrunk?
Yeah.
Have you what?
Have we shrunk?
No, they're just big squares.
No, 1 square equals 5 feet.
You.
Oh yeah, we're halfling size.
We're tiny. We all fit in a 5-foot square.
Everyone in square.
I will use my climber's kit to get in the building via the stairs.
Somebody's cast giant growth on us. I'm now 4-4.
Well, why did Dan keep landing on top of me?
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
I think there's probably something that the psychologists have to say about that.
There you go, you're tiny again. What we're going to do is use Theatre of the Mind for most of it. This is just a prompt.
Okay.
So as the door swings open, it is warm and inviting inside. You can see damp cloaks hang from pegs on the entrance portico. The tavern is packed with tables and chairs with narrow paths meandering between them. The bar stretches from one wall, as you can see. There's a balcony which overhangs the bar. So over here is a balcony looking down. Lanterns hanging above the bar. And there's 3 large casks behind. As you walk in, it's busy. It's the busiest looking place that you've been in so far. It's certainly busier than the inn that you went to in Barovia. And this fella here looks up as you enter. And straight away he says, "Oh, greetings, gentlemen. Have a seat. My wife or I will be with you as soon as we can." He's carrying beer and food as he goes to wander over to this table here with a couple of rough-looking fellas and drops it down in front of them. The rest of the patrons, there's sort of lively chat, and this other lady seems to be walking to and fro. On the balcony, you can see so these 2 young lads. They're clearly the sons of these two. They seem to be playing a game on the balcony, running backwards and forwards. It's possibly the first time that you've been in Barovia that you feel sort of semi-welcome, as if you're not in the God's Forsaken demiplane of dread. So
I'm going to take a short rest at the table, the vacant table in the middle, where I've put myself. Well, he'll come over to us for beer, won't he? So
he will.
Well, yeah, I would say, I'll walk straight past the table. So as he's walking back from serving the food, I'll just inquire about whether there are rooms to rent.
Oh yes, indeed. He'll say he's a gruff fella. He was sort of.
Steady on, lad.
That's good character.
He's got COVID.
Yeah.
He has actually.
Everyone get out of the bar.
Unwin's got COVID. He tested positive. He'll say, yes, of course we do. My name's Unwin Martikov. That's my wife, my two boys. Yeah, but have a sit down. I'll bring you some wine.
We may as well. Rather than eating gay rations, we may as well have some food in here and save the rations.
I said, as a rule, that it shouldn't be too expensive. So we'll all sit at the big table. Well, let's all take the empty table. Everyone pick a chair.
Nice one, Adam. He'll sort of say, yeah, I'll be with you as soon as I can. It's one electrum piece for a bed for a night. We do have multiple rooms available. Most of you will have to share, and he sort of takes you all in. And you can tell something's occurred to him. But then he'll go on and say, "Well, it's wine all around. It's three copper for the purple grape number 3, or a silver for the red dragon crush." And you can see these are a pint of wine that he's serving.
Oh, we've not seen these before. Are these from the Wizard's Winery?
You know of the Wizard? Yes, that's my family runs the Wizard of Wine's winery, and it again, you can tell he's busy. He's doing the sort of ever so sorry type thing, and he goes off, does what he needs to do, and comes back and he says, "Yeah, sorry about that." And he plunks, "Yeah, sorry." What? Before he disappears, he'll probably take your order. What did you want? Did you want purple grape?
Cheapest possible wine and whatever food it is. So they don't.
We're about to eat later, Mark. We don't need food. We're about to go for a banquet at the Baron's house.
We're about to go for a banquet at the Baron's house, so we don't need food.
Right. So it's.
So no, I'll just say we'll just have a wine each, and beds for 5 for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's sensible. That's 12 copper and 4 electrum.
I won't be.
Okay, I will do that. I'll do that off the party gold.
Got you, Jim. We're gonna have to sort your mic for next time, mate.
Yeah.
I'll sort that off party gold. So what was it? 12 copper, 4 electrum.
Yeah. I'm going to take a short rest, so I can trade in. I've got 2 sorcery points, so I'll see what happens if I try and create. You know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So in terms of spell slots, you can't have any more spell slots than you have.
Is that definite? Because
yeah, definite. How can you generate a spell slot from nothing?
You don't use a sorcery point. You use 2 sorcery points to make a first
Yeah, but you
level
can't go over the spell slots that you've got.
But it's completely pointless then, really.
No, because it's
Not
if you
mid-combat.
expend one,
Well,
it still gives you that
because
number of spell slots.
When I
It's
watched
just-
the Sorlock thing on YouTube, it specifically mentioned this.
It's what it's designed for, Mark. The way I'm reading it is in combat, instead of, or if you're in between combats, you use your sorcery points to get a slot back.
So why does it say those slots disappear at the end of a long rest?
But you can't
Why
have
would you
more
say
slots
that?
than you've got. Where do the slots magically come from? You get slots from leveling up.
Read honestly, mate. Look at the video. There's look at a Sorlock guide.
We'll sort it another time.
I'll not bother because it's not really relevant anyway.
Okay. Righto. Yes, you've marked the gold off, Adam.
Yeah, I've just knocked it off.
The
Yeah.
money off.
Well, I've taken the copper off my stash because I couldn't be asked to work that out, and I've just knocked the gold off it. Yeah.
So-
I mentioned. Sorry, he mentioned he owned. So your family owned the Wizard Winery.
Yes, the Moscows. Yes, they provide the wine for the whole of Barovia, and you can tell, like I said a minute ago, he sort of puts two and two together before he disappeared. And he said, "Tommy, are you the group that sorted the nest of undead out?"
We may have been. It would depend where this conversation's going from here.
Well, what I'm looking for is an able group to help. As I've mentioned, the wine comes from my family. If I'm honest with you, I'm currently not on speaking terms with my father, who runs the winery. Long story, but they're still family. They still deliver wine to us. We haven't received any for weeks.
This isn't the first we've heard of this. Other areas of Barovia. In fact, it is Barovia, the city, town of Barovia, isn't it? Where we were.
Yeah, you're in Barovia, the land, and the village of Barovia is the
Yeah, the village of Barovia have reported similar timeframes of their lacks of deliveries.
Okay, so you can tell he's puzzled by this, and he sort of stops, puts his hand on the chair at the back of him, and says, "Okay, interesting. In which case, perhaps the need is more urgent. I would be in your debt if you could get to the bottom of what's happened to the wine. You have to understand that the wine it's the lifeblood of Barovians. This is the only way we survive, is with the wine. I mean, this is not just because my family runs
Bunch of alcoholics.
Yeah.
You're thinking alcoholics. I'm thinking this isn't made from, teenagers.
We'll express that we're more than willing to look into it, but it isn't something we can deal with straight away, as we do have other matters that we are currently looking into. But have we got the location?
No,
of the
that's
winery?
what I don't think we have. We've heard a lot about.
If you can provide us with detail. I mean, let's put it this way. Let's say we'll be back in town hopefully in a few days. Where is the winery? Because if it's somewhere in the direction we're going, we can look into it. If it's another direction, we will come back here for more information first.
Can't miss it. Carry on west along this Vallaki road and follow the signs.
Perfect. So we will be returning to town before we head west. So we will probably come and talk to you then a bit more information regarding this. But as I say, we do have other things on that we've been tasked to do without giving too much information to them.
Sure. So
never tell the barkeep what you're doing.
In response to this, he'll sort of say, "I can't thank you enough," and he's sort of just as distracted as he was before. You now have his full attention. He says, anything that you could do to help would be amazing. And like I say, it is my family, and report back to me anything that you can find. As he continues to point to you, the front door, it flies open as someone strides in. It's quite a colourful looking chap.
God! If that's a bard, I'm going to kill it.
It's got, well, yeah.
Don't hover over it. You'll be fine, Bob.
It's the best way I can describe it is he does look very similar to the picture. That's the best picture I can see. So it's a half elf looking fella, and as he walks in, I'd like to think of this as a Cheers moment. They don't all go Norm. It's kind of a watered down version of that.
We'll go Knox.
And Unwin himself will say to you, Rictavio's back. Wonderful. That's the entertainment for this evening sorted. And this Rictavio fella, as he walks in, he sort of nods his head towards Unwin, sees, clocks you lot, and sort of nods his head towards you, and moves over and says, Unwin, greetings to you. Greetings, fellow travellers. I believe your reputation precedes you. I am Rictavio. I am the purveyor of stories and entertainment. Pray tell, who are you? He will say.
Names precede us.
Unfortunately, your reputation precedes you, but I don't know your names.
I'll again step in front and stop Nick from making a fool of us and actually provide the names.
He will say, "Well met, travellers. This fella, unlike most Barovians, he's got a bit of a tan to him. Most Barovians look pale and sullen. You get the impression that he's not from around here. His speech, his clothes would be something that you would see on the streets of Waterdeep, or you'd be comfortable with in Haven Solace. Not distinctly not Barovian."
Right. Okay. I mean, the first question is where do you hail from?
He'll sort of raise his eye.
In fact, no. What I'll actually do is say where you hail from, while kicking out the chair next to me and gesturing to take a seat.
Nice. Yeah, he'll take a seat.
Because no one sat next to me because they're where they're on, so that's fine. So that one there.
You want him in that one? Done.
Yeah, because I'm in this one. I can't quite place on it properly.
Down on the table.
Go on, try now.
Thank you. Happy days.
Oh, we're not all like that, damn it.
Sod you rest of you.
Yeah, go on then. Oh, it's interesting actually, because if you were to drag, press space and then drag and space, you can move.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm quite happy that I'm now in. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's nice for combat if you're in a tight place.
Sorry about this, but it is important to me. So could I just draw everyone's attention to the link I've just posted in the chat?
Not without me coming off camera, no.
I think I did it in chat. If I did it in the wrong one,
what's it to do with, Mark?
It's tells you how Sorlock.
We're not going to watch.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll look at it later. But
I don't want to look at it now.
Yeah.
So it was you that told me they could have infinite spell slots. It was you that pointed it out to me in the first place. It's not infinite. It's just the amount of short rests you can take before you need a long rest.
So in response to what you're saying, then Adam, he'll sit down and he'll say, "Well, I come from here and there," and he mentions, amongst other places, somewhere called, and forgive me, I might have to amend this and look it up, Darkon. If anyone wants, you can have an individual, all of you have a history check if you wanted to see if you recognise that.
Darkon.
Yeah, let me just double check.
17.
17 is pretty good. It's not kind of what I'm after because it's
11's not going to do it then.
21.
21.
History check.
Yeah, 21 does it for you, Mark. Yeah, it is Darkon. And it's nice that you did it, actually. It's nice that Akxikas did it, because Darkon is a separate demiplane.
Okay.
Specifically a demiplane of dread. You'd have Akxikas, coming from Avernus, would have heard of these places. You've heard of Barovia, you've heard of Darkon and another couple of places, and straight away you start thinking, what? Okay. And he will sort of tell you a story. He is he was in a carnival. It's his wagon that's parked up in the.
That's where Ted's gone, isn't it?
That's where Ted's gone to look at his wagon. Yeah. But it wasn't. If you remember, Ted was looking for someone called Argo Stent, and it was Rictavio's wagon of wonders or whatever. And then underneath it was written Argo Stent, and it was almost as if it was scrubbed out.
Yeah, Ted told us a bit of background on that, didn't he? It didn't sound like he was a very nice guy.
Yeah, and as he mentions the fact that he's travelling, he said, "I've got I had a disagreement with the previous owners and decided to go my own way to see if I could find another troop, and here I ended up.
Previous owner of the. I'll allow him to finish my sentence. Previous owner of
the carnival.
Carnival, right? Who was the previous owner? I mean, I'd love carnival. I mean, as a child, I'd go to carnivals every summer. Who was the previous owner? I've been to so many. It would be if it's a name I know.
It was it wouldn't surprise me if you had heard it. It's probably related to cruelty. I had no idea until it was too late, and I was part of the troop. It was a chap called Argo Stent. He, believe it or not, was a Vistani brother of 3, and I came with his troop from where I hail from in Darkon, and we travelled to. Let me think. We went to a place called, and he mentioned something. I'm not very good with Greyhawk knowledge, but he mentioned somewhere in Greyhawk. He'll mention perhaps Solomnia, and then he'll perhaps mention something Faerunian that and you guys would sort of pick up on different places that this guy's travelled to with this Argo Stent, and he'll say that if all I'd say to you. And he's talking back to Nick. Don't give that man any of your money. He is cruel and vicious.
So he's not much better than the one that they took.
Can I do an insight to see if he is actually, or whether it's...
Of course you can, mate.
Sorry, I missed a bit there. Who did you say not to give the money to? I caught the description of towns and everything.
Argo Stent.
Oh, yep, there we go. That's another natural one. No idea.
I'll have a go.
We should not trust this Argo fellow.
Yeah, you're not sure.
With a 19?
Well, you've had your roll.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's probably a high DC kind of one. Okay. Next kind of question up with him is following on from where he hails from is how long has he been in Barovia?
And again, forgive me if I have to correct this. He'll sort of say, "Oh, just 2 weeks. I've not been here long. It's a dreary, miserable place. I've the amount of times I've had to run away from wolves. I've never known anywhere like it. And I mean, this place is the best I've found, which is why I've settled. Unwin and Danica have made me welcome, and they give me room and board to keep people's spirits up. But tell me, have they told you about the wine issue?
Yes, they have. They've asked us to look into it, which we hopefully will try to do. How did you come here to Barovia?
Believe it or not, through mists. I'd left Stend, decided to go on by myself, and mist descended, and before I knew where I was going through like a large arched foundation works with 2 statues either side with this mist, and then wolves, and I passed through a village, a dowdy looking village, and just kept on going. How did you end up here?
Very, very similar.
I've been kind of just looking deep in thought, and I just go, Stent! Horrible carnival. What's happened with him? About, he has a foul fate waiting that man.
Do you know of him?
The name rings a bell. We've been to the carnival once. Cruel, mistreated animals. We certainly didn't go again. I mean, anything foul that befall that man would be better than he deserves.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. Rick Tavia will sort of he'll move as if he's going to stand up and say, "If you must forgive me, I room and board means that I have to tell stories. So if you'll forgive me," and he makes his way over to sort of like not a stage area, sort of stand here, and he'll start telling stories to anyone that would listen. He is sort of a little bit bardy, but it's mostly through word. And he'll start telling a tale. Let's think of a popular old 2nd edition tale, shall we? Shall we Time of Troubles? He'll start telling the story of when AO cast the gods out from heaven, and the tablets of fate and all that kind of business, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that gives me a bit of timeology as to where we are time-wise in your game, so that's fine.
Well, he's telling it as in history.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I know where we are time. Yeah, we're after that point.
Yeah, oh yeah, very much so.
That's fine.
So you, because we're getting close to 10:30 now, so you've managed to secure lodgings. All I'd say to you is you very much got the impression that this place, you'd have the run of it if you found out what was happening with the wine. You can easily pass the time until it gets to 7 o'clock, and we can finish the session there. If that's
I'm nodding now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Nice. I'll send out the usual text. Are we 2 weeks? 2 weeks for another game?
Yeah, we said 29th, didn't we?
29th, is that alright for us?
All of us.
I'm always good.
I'll
So,
double check
nice.
it. The dates for me are normally fine. It will just be checking.
Why is there a dotted line kind of around the perimeter on this?
That's
Is there a
overhead.
reason?
So the you know the Tudor building.
That's the balcony.
So that's the,
Yeah.
that's the top. See, you've got another.
Right. Okay. I was when it came up on the map, I was like, have I missed something? What's that?
No, well, because to be honest with you, this should be a curtain, so I should have put the fog up, limited that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a balcony above there as well.
Well, let's just say it's a netted curtain.
Why not? Yeah. Bit of massive doily. Right, let me stop that.